See, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports
My next
UK.
guest just got back from cold Toronto, and he's coming back a winner, getting that split decision victory over Charles Jourdain, UFC 297, January 20th. It is Sean Woodson back here on the program. Sean, how are you, man?
Good. A little warmer, too. It was frigid out there. I'm glad to be back at the crib.
That's good. When did you get back, and how was the rest of Toronto? Because I don't know about you, but we got out really late after the presser. I know you obviously fought earlier, but when did you get back to Missouri?
Yeah, I saw you were still doing work at like 3:30 in the morning. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Yeah, usually after my fights, we fly back super early the next morning, but this time my flight wasn't until like 3-3-ish or something. So I had enough time to hit this nice breakfast spot right around the corner from the hotel. Had me some little pancakes and stuff. And then we went to the hotel and I got back home. Then we went to the airport and I got back home about 5-6 o'clock my time. Didn't sleep all the night after the win. I never do. So the moment I got back home, I hit a front flip into the bed and went into hibernation mode.
That's good. So a couple things there. The breakfast, which spot did you hit up? Do you remember where you went for breakfast?
I think it was Exceptional or Expectation. There we go.
Yeah, that's a good spot. I used to live in Toronto, so I know the area quite well. And you enjoy it. It gets really busy there, but the food's really good.
Yeah, it was packed when we went. It was packed. It was pretty cool. A couple of the waiters and a couple of people there knew me and were asking for pictures and stuff and told me good fight. So that was cool. And I got some orange ricotta cherry pancakes, something crazy and creative like that, which was amazing. It was my first time having like some real deal sugar in like 2 months. So yeah, that was fire.
Good stuff, man. So you kind of talked a bit about it there because we obviously talked at the post-fight presser. What did you do after the fight? You said you stayed up, you couldn't go back to sleep. What do you do at because whatever time it would have been like close to midnight after that. What did you get up to?
Well, usually after the fights, whatever city I'm in, we usually check out the city because during fight week, I know some guys walk around and check out the city, but during fight week, bro, I like to stay locked in the hotel and just focus on the fight, the task at hand. But afterwards, that's when we go check out the city just for that night and then fly out early the next morning. But being in Toronto and it being cold is cold as hell. I went and tried to find some food, had trouble because it was kind of late. So we ended up just getting some food from the hotel and then just took it up to the room. And I'm a low-key dude, man. I don't like to really go out and party too much. So yeah, just me and my team got some good food, hung out with them in the hotel room, celebrated, talked about the fight, talked about the future, and just chilled up in the room. Then when they left, I always try to get sleep, but after I shower and everybody leaves and I say, all right, I'm gonna get some sleep, I end up laying in my bed and just staying on Instagram and seeing what everybody's talking about, and can't sleep for nothing.
We'll talk about Instagram in a sec because I did see one of your posts. But looking back on the fight, all things considered, because we talked about this at the presser, you had a terrible camp. You almost pulled out of the fight. All things considered, your overall thoughts on your performance in the fight.
So I watched the fight back, and in the cage right after the fight, I remember saying that it could go either way. I won that fight, up and down. I won that fight. When you're in there and it's in the moment and it's live, things always seem odd. It's hard for me personally, and I've heard other fighters say this, it's hard for me to like really gauge what's going on or gauge how the judges may be seeing it or scoring it. But yeah, like after I rewatched it, I clearly won. Hold on, what was the question? What else did you ask me?
Oh, just ask your overall thoughts on the performance.
Oh, yeah.
Like, were you happy about the way you performed?
Yeah, so I'm happy about it, due to the circumstance. Like I said, it being the worst camp of my life and against the probably the best dude I've ever fought. Yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm my worst critic though. Like after watching the fight back, I see so much more I could have did, so many more opportunities. Charles, I think, has only been finished one time in the UFC. That's when he got caught against Julian in that choke. But yeah, I could have finished that dude. I could have finished him either way. I could have took him down and submitted him. I could have finished him with strikes. And, that's what all of us fighters want. We want to finish the fight. So I'm kind of upset with myself that I didn't get to finish and I didn't push the action more. But like I said, due to the shape I was in and the circumstances of that fight camp and the quality of opponent, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the win.
Anything about him surprise you?
I was surprised at how well prepared he was for my feints and my setups and my attacks. Usually when I'm doing all those feints, I do that to like dress up my attacks, and off of certain feints I can tell when is prime opportunity to lunge in and to strike or whatever. But I would be doing my feints and I could tell that he had really studied me, and at normal times when it'd be clear for me to go, I could tell it wasn't clear for me to go. He was ready to counter me. And so yeah, that kind of threw me off, because usually guys aren't ready for that. And the main thing, honestly, though, that threw me off was how he wasn't as aggressive as he is in all his other fights. How he was real hesitant, and I just assumed, I was expecting him to be a lot more aggressive and really bring the fight to me. But yeah, he didn't, and I think that's due to him, due to my feints, due to my striking, and it was just clear that he felt something he didn't like. He was in front of some stuff he didn't like. He didn't feel comfortable closing that distance against me. And yeah, I feel like that says a lot coming from a dude like that who's usually super aggressive.
I saw your Instagram post after the fact. Did you know that he was saying so many things on Instagram before the fight? Because I know you were talking about some of the stuff he was saying, kind of like poking fun of you.
Yeah, oh yeah, I seen it all. I seen it all. Prior to us fighting, I was following him on Instagram already. Like, I've been a fan of the dude for a while. Like, yeah. So, and I've seen how he's handled past opponents. Like, the moment he gets signed for an opponent, he starts chirping at him, and he starts making fun of him and doing little cute stuff all the time. So I expected that, and yeah, I've seen it every time. Every time he would make a post about me, I would react to it on his story and like DM him and say something to him about it. Like, not much. Like, I would just laugh at it, or I tell him, like, if you were really, they like to, he has this thing, I don't know if it's all Canadians or just him and his people, but they call themselves pirates or whatever. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so like I would say things like, if you were really a pirate, you tag me in this post, or, stuff like that. And he never responded, but he just kept making little posts and memes about me. And yeah, I let him know I seen everyone, and everyone I had screenshotted and was ready to post it for after the fight.
And it worked out well for you. What's been the feedback? I don't know if your management has talked to the UFC. I mean, they had to have been happy. Like, you put on a really good fight, and you were like a betting underdog going into the matchup.
Yeah, it's always cool to, it's always great to get the win, but it's even especially great to get it when you're the underdog and people count you out. Yeah, me and my manager were extremely happy. He was happy for me. We both acknowledged that this was a step up in competition, big opportunity for me. The UFC thinks very highly of Charles, I think. So me beating him did a lot for me. It put me in a really good position. It would have put me in a better position if I would have finished him. And if I would have finished him and just really opened up the way I know I can. But again, right away in that first round, I could feel that I wasn't going to be able to open up and really fight the way I like to fight, because my cardio just wasn't there. Had I done that, like if I didn't get him out of there in the first, I was going to be in trouble in those later rounds. So I kind of had to control the pace and fight at a pace that I knew I could keep up the whole time.
When do you want to get back in there? I know this is fresh. I don't know if you have any injuries you're dealing with. You mentioned it being a tougher camp. Are you going to take some time off, or when do you want to have that next one?
Yeah, no, this is the year, man. We talked about before. I want to be active this year. Fighting in January sets that up perfectly, and I want to take prime opportunity of that. I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but yeah, I didn't take much damage in the fight. He chopped up my leg pretty good and got me limping a little bit, but that's healing up. I'm already feeling a ton better, and yeah, I'm gonna take like a week or two off and jump right back in it. I'm keeping my weight down. I'm not gonna blow up like I usually do after every fight. And yeah, we're already talking, and I'm trying to get back in there May or June. May or June is what I want, and yeah, that's what and even if I don't get nothing on the books, I'm gonna be training to be in shape to jump on some short notice in May or June.
What about an opponent? Anything in mind, or you just, because I mean, you're coming off a win here, actually coming off a nice little win streak. Anyone in mind, or you just leave that up to your coaches and management?
Yeah, I usually leave that up to my coaches and management. Like I said, like right out the gate when I got in the UFC, I was calling guys out left and right. Like even before fights, after fights, and that's never. I've yet to get a guy that I've called for. I've yet to hear a guy say my name once. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave that up to my team, my management, and see what they come up with. I will, but. So the fight just ended, and I still haven't really really thought about that or looked into specifics. But if I don't hear nothing soon, then I'm gonna start looking at the rankings, looking, who's matched up, how things are looking, and I'll shoot some names on manager's way for sure.
Are you getting any salty Canadians in your DMs about losing money on Jourdain, especially with the way they announced the winner?
Yeah, for sure. That's happened to me after every fight. But it was so funny, like walking out of the cage and walking to the back, like that was when I got felt the most wrath from them. Like they were all of them flicking me off, yelling at me and stuff, and a couple of them were like tricking me, like waving at me, like hey, hey, and I'd look at them and point at them, and then they flip the finger.
The bird.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, they back their own, that's for sure.
They just announced Gaethje and Max Holloway. Who do you like in that fight? Who do you think gets it done?
Man, I think Gaethje. I think Max is still crisp, and as far as the striking and all that, but I just think he has a lot of wear and tear on him. And Gaethje hits really hard and is super durable. And something just giving me the vibes that Max isn't as durable as he used to. So I see Gaethje. It's going to be a good one, but I see Gaethje taking that one.
What do you got planned for the rest of the week?
The rest of the week, I had some little at-home projects. I'm doing putting a gym together in my garage.
Nice.
I'm gonna do a little shopping and just letting this leg heal for real, because I'm chomping at the bit to get back to training and getting back to preparing for what's next.
Well, it was a great win, man. It was happy to see that one live, UFC 297. Sean, thanks so much for the time. Again, I know you got things to do. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
Just, man, the same people I started with, man. My team here in St. Louis, Woodson Training Center. My strength and conditioning coach, Matt Owen, with Project Deliverance. He's Horsepower and Barbells on Instagram. Check him out. And my management team, Iridium Sports Agency. They're my guys. I love them. They really took care of me throughout this whole thing. And yeah, that's it. Just St. Louis. My people here in St. Louis. I love my city. They love me, and I'm proud to represent them. And yeah, that's just about it.